Arsenal 0, PSG 1. Wonderful. Merci, mes amis. Beautiful. Wonderful. Scrumdiddlyumptious. Je ne sais quoi. Job done. I could be greedy. I probably will get greedy as I get into my analysis. But at the end of the day, job done. Because when you go to the Emirates, you have got to play the game. And that is what PSG did. Calculated performance. They did not leave anything on the table. They knew that they would have to fight. Those set pieces were coming in quick. And they dealt with what they had to deal with. You know, it wasn't an onslaught of opportunities. It wasn't wave after wave. But it was patches and periods. And you need top players to stand up. And the first thing I've got to say is massive credit to Donnarumma in goal. Because I feel like PSG, they could have got 2 or 3 tonight, and we'll go through some of the poor finishing and some of the attackers that really could have buried Arsenal, right? But at the same time, Arsenal could also have got an equaliser and then gone on to win, because Donnarumma was making some big saves. Big saves from Trossard, from Martinelli. Those were the 2 big ones for me on that left-hand side, trying to go for the far post. Saka obviously near post, a few others. You've got crosses, corners, wide free kicks, set pieces coming in. They're taking kicks from Raya, from behind the halfway, because we knew going into this game, if there's one thing that PSG have a problem with, it's defending set pieces, because their team is simply not equipped to deal with them. There's a mismatch aerially with Arsenal in terms of all of the 6-foot+ brothers versus very petite, small individuals at PSG, right? So it's a mismatch. But that aggression, determination, intelligence, whether it's, you know, just drawing the foul. Neves today in midfield. Oh. Listen, at 20 years of age, as a midfielder or winger or an attacker, it's easy to dazzle. It's easy to have a blistering amount of pace, to trickery like Desiree Doué. It's easy to drop draws. It's easy to score incredible goals, and because you're a generational talent or whatnot. But let me tell you something. For a 20-year-old to be that mature, off the ball, defensively, making tackles from behind, getting in front of people that are twice his size in the penalty box and managing to draw fouls or win the ball from awkward angles, N'Golo Kante angles we're talking about. Time things to perfection, receive in tight spaces, keep the game ticking and going for PSG in possession. It was a masterclass from him. It's between him and Donnarumma for man of the match. Maybe it just goes slightly to Donnarumma because of the saves they yet to make. Without him at the top of his game, PSG, they probably don't win, right? They had to rely on him at times. But João Neves, let me just say, what a player. What a player. So, brilliant win. I think you take that. Like I said, how greedy. I could have said 2 3s. Let's up the ante. But I must say, that's a very important performance, a very important win. They'll take it back to Parc des Princes. The Ultras will be out, you know, they'll be out in force. That goal from Dembele, let's start there. That goal from Dembele, before I get to Arsenal and Arteta and what I think they did wrong. And Dembele, I take my hat off to you, sir. I really do. I really do. Because, you know, everybody's been talking about Dembele this season, and he's having the season of his life, and he's a player that is taking responsibility. He's a leader in the press, off the ball. He's charging down defenders. He's joining and linking up play. He's keeping things fluid, and he's linking the wingers and the midfield, and everything's going through him. But this finish from a player that at Barcelona was missing 1v1s. Messi was laying up chances. Man was putting things on a plate. Man was even sometimes cutting the steak for you, cutting the food, knife and fork, spoon open wide, and this brother would spit the shit out. He was saying no to everything. Any opportunity to put Barcelona through these Champions League knockout stages more comfortably, he weren't converting his chances. Today, That cutback from Kvaratskhelia on 5 minutes, I could not even breathe. I was getting dizzy. I think I'm the bar. I said I'm the bar on the watch along. That ball must have hit me in my chest, because why is my brain vibrating? Why am I dizzy? I had to go and get a bottle of water, fam. Do you know what I mean? That was a serious finish. To hit that first time when the ball is bobbling, it's not like crispy on the floor. You're shooting away from goal. You're wrapping it round to go wide, so it's now got to hit the post and go in, but not go to the keeper. It's not a simple finish whatsoever. You're thinking in that position, right foot, curl, outside the post to in. We've seen it. For him to generate that power, keep it down and not get underneath the ball, and then with that accuracy to hit it off the post and in, top tier. Top shelf shit. I said on the watch along, that is the expensive wine that grandma keeps in the cupboard and saves it for a special occasion. That is a special finish. That is not an everyday finish. You don't just open that bottle of wine whenever you fancy it. You don't just go into you don't get that key that's in that cupboard and go and unlock that drawer and think, no. That is saved for a special occasion. That is a serious finish. I just wish the finishing from PSG was consistent throughout the football match. If they could have even achieved half of the accuracy Dembele did there, from Kvaratskhelia on the left to Desiree Doué, even when he came on, Barcola, what an opportunity on the 1v1. Ramos hitting the crossbar with one of the weirdest little outside the boot toe pokes. I don't know what that was. If you could have just kept the same energy in the final third, we could be dancing into the distance with a 3-0 win. But hey, like I said, how greedy. On Arsenal's side of things, Arsenal fans, let me speak to you. And let me be very objective. I can do the banter thing as I've done. I got the flags in the background. I got the croissants. They're now in my digestive system, to be honest. But let me talk to you about Odegaard. And I could get onto Mikel Merino as well. These two eights in this 4-3-3. But let me specifically start with Odegaard, the captain. It's all well and good leading the press. It's all well and good doing the huff and puff. But you've got to get on the ball and be an engineer. You've got to find the gaps. You've got to create the chances. This was a very big moment for me in regards to Odegaard. I think this is the day where you really make the decision to make him an 8 and not a advanced 8-10. He cannot be the most attack-minded midfielder in your 3. There is no way. This guy is an environmentalist. He is recycling. He is rejuvenating and regenerating others, but he is not creating enough. He's got his key pass to Saka. I get it. I know what you do. Little side step. But where is the punch? Lewis Skelly's creating more chances than you. From left back. Lewis Skelly's getting the ball and carrying it and twisting and turning in the first half, getting past 1, 2, 3 players, laying it, that inside pass to Martinelli and behind for his opportunity, etc. I'm not expecting Mikel Merino to have this suave and this fluidity and fanciness to his game. It's not there. But honestly, I would have taken Odegaard off 25 minutes or 20 minutes before and bring on Ranieri, who's got that shot, that's got that dribble, that's got that carry, something unpredictable. Now, the only reason I can think of as to why Arteta hasn't made that substitution early, because I looked at Arsenal's bench, let me make it clear, decimated. No Havertz, no Jesus, no Gabriel, no Jorginho, injuries. So I sympathise on that side. But that one sub with Ranieri, he could have been the one to maybe destabilise that PSG team, who for me, on the ground, they were not tested enough by Arsenal today. Aerially, yes, the corners, the crosses, confusion, chaos, problems. But on the ground, PSG dealt with you off the ball for themselves. They dealt with it. And I felt like that's because Odegaard, who's meant to have the quality, the ability as a leader, the captain, he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. And he didn't do enough against Madrid, and he's not doing enough in this game. And again, they're going to call and we're all going to say, are you going to turn up in Paris? Are you going to turn up at the Parc des Princes? Because if not, you're not leaving. You're not leading. So for me, Merino I'd keep on because you're putting aerial, you're putting in the crosses and you need his aerial influence and his aerial ability potentially to, destabilize PSG, one of their biggest weaknesses. He was not good. Merino, that game passed you by, right? It was Rice or bust in the midfield, and Partey was heavily, heavily missed. Someone to punch the pass, someone to put the intensity and tempo into the game. They missed him. They really did miss him. It was almost like having to make 2 changes today because Merino don't go up front. He goes into midfield. He's now literally irrelevant in that midfield. He doesn't offer anything. in that game with the level of midfielder on the pitch, with Vitinha, with Neves. Doesn't offer anything. But Odegaard's the one that you have to expect from in this moment. He's the one that's meant to be offering more. But yeah, it's one of those ones. It could have been 2-2. It could have been 3-2 PSG. Could have been 2-1 Arsenal. You know, it's one of those fixtures where everybody had to play their part on a PSG side. It wasn't an annihilation. You know, Arsenal did have, I think, the 20 minutes in the first half, the back end, last 20 minutes. I think that's when they really started to just, you know, get in their groove. PSG had the first 20. Then in the second half, it was very flat after the penalty didn't go their way, the decision there, the VAR check. Not the penalty, sorry, the goal. I believe the VAR check on that, so it was obviously ruled out. So yeah, but then PSG, you gotta finish your chances, finish your dinner. You're playing with your food. You're playing with your food, and I wish you didn't. But yeah, listen, Arsenal 0, PSG 1. Very, very good game of football. High quality, highest level, jeopardy, everything you want to see. This is why I need my team in the Champions League next season. And yes, you may think I've overdone it. You may think I've overstepped the mark. I'm wearing a classic kit. I'm trying to hide it. But I cannot have my one standing sentence, the only team in London to win a European Cup, ruined this year. I can't have my chain snatched, and I won't have it snatched, and I will be there regardless next week, and I will hate. Yes, you can call it what you want. An agenda. Yes, I will be there. So for me, it's very important that we keep that. We don't win domestically against Arsenal in the FA Cups and the Premier League, so we got to keep what we got before we hopefully rejuvenate and return to the promised land. Guys, make sure you smash up all the icons, and I'll see you guys next time. Big up your damn selves in a bit, people. Peace.